No, man, I got it. It's flawless. Check it.
Hawaii. All right, that's good. It's hard to trace, I guess. Wait, you changed your name to...
McDovin? McDovin?
What kind of a stupid name is that, Fogel? What, are you trying to be an Irish R&B singer?
What's up, guys? Craig Mack here, Craig Mack 378 on Twitch. I'm coming to you with another strategy video for Magic the Gathering Arena. This time, we're going to be talking about a tap-out control deck based on Dovin's Acuity. I'm calling this version McDovin. Let's take a look at some of the card choices and see what makes this bad boy run. Build with me. Alright, guys, let's just jump right in here and check out the deck. McDovin. Esper colors. The whole deck is built around this engine. Dovin's Acuity. When Dovin's Acuity enters the battlefield, you gain 2 life and draw a card. When you cast an instant spell during your main phase, you may return Dovin's Acuity to its owner's hand. We run 3 of those. Sometimes I run 4, but right now we're running 3. I run 4 Revitalizes, and I have 4 Radical Ideas. These are the main engine of the deck. You can go back and forth between different draw cards and what is good and what is bad. I've run Opt in here, but I find in a best of 1 ladder, you need the life. So Revitalize is there to give you the 3 life. It's there to cycle to your next card, and it's there to draw a card. With Acuity out, it's pretty bananas against creature decks. Radical Idea is a way to dump your unwanted cards, be it lands, Unmoored Egos, excess Mortifies, that sort of thing, Cries of Carnarium. It also, you know, with the jumpstart cost, it will get you 2 cards with your Acuity out. Again, very good. We are running 2 Moment of Cravings. It's just kind of a nod to the creature heavy environment of best of 1 ladder. Also to the aggro decks. Thought Erasure, which we bump back and forth from 2 to 4 all the time, depending what the metagame is. Thought Erasure is one of the vital cards you have in the deck that gives you a chance against Esper control. So you can go from 2 to 4. We're running 3 right now, right in the middle. I find that card to be very good against mono white. I find it very good against Esper, and I even find it very good against red. It's one of the best cards in the format right now if you're playing a control deck. Cry of Carnarium. We're only running 2 of those bad boys. You can up that number to 3 if you're running into a lot of white weenie. Card is unfair against white weenie, so that's the real reason it's in there. It doesn't catch much in Sultai, doesn't catch much in Golgari, doesn't catch much in say a red deck that got off to a good start, but it is really good against white, so that's a nod to white. Again, 3 Dovin's Acuity. You want to have 1, but you don't want to have 3 or 4. They're fine if you get that many because they're going to keep giving you cards, but I think 3 is the right number right now. Kaya, the Orzhov Usurper. Simply put, this is another win condition. This can be anything you want as long as it's a win condition that's hard to counter. Kaya is low to the ground, so it hits a lot easier than the bigger planeswalkers. Easy to protect, gives you life, kind of fits into your strategy. I've tried the uncounterable Kraken here, or whatever it is, Leviathan. It's in my sideboard. We'll see it in a second. I've tried Chromium. I've tried Tefari's. The only other card that could be put here was mentioned to me by Waldo MTG. Big W is a Dawn of Hope, and I think you might be able to run that. It might be too slow. It might not have the direct impact this does when it hits, but you might want to try that. Who knows? We'll maybe do that in some testing. 3 Mortifies, you need these. Obviously, they act as removal. They act as instant spells to pick up your Dovin's Acuity, but it also catches the Experimental Frenzy, which is a big no-no for you if it hits. Unmoored Ego. This is your only game plan against Esper Control, and believe it or not, it's pretty good. This on turn 3, naming Teferi, is pretty much game over. They might have 1 Kaya's, they might run 1 other kill condition, a win condition, pardon me, but Unmoored Ego is bananas, and as you'll see in the next, when we get into the gameplay, it's really, really good, and I think you guys are going to like having 2 there. We also have 1 on the board that we can Masterminds for, so this is just the trump card. You'll see so many Esper players just scoop as the moment you cast it and it resolves. I know people are saying you don't have many threats against Esper, so they're going to counter it every time. You have Thought Erasers, you have Unmoored Egos, and you have the ability with Dovin's Acuity to cycle through your deck and make the perfect hand, right? And tack on that, you have Contempts for their Teferi. You're in pretty good shape. You'll see. It should be a terrible matchup for you, but I'm gonna tell you, it's easier won than you think. Kaya's Wrath, again, go from 3 to 2, 2 to 3 with that in the Moment of Craving. If you're running super creature heavy environments, feel free to bump those up. 1 precog. I've been running 1 precog right now, and that is it's just the one of. And when you get to that card and you have an Acuity out, and you're gaining control of magic, especially against a control player, this card is bananas. Picking up your Acuity, cycling through your deck, you're gonna really like this one so far. Again, this used to be a 4th Acuity, and we switched it over here. Back to Mastermind's Acquisition. This card here is really, really good, and especially in Best of 1 when you don't normally have sideboard, having the option to go get your sideboard is it's a game breaker. So you'll notice that we don't have many win conditions in this deck in general. We're going to go to the sideboard right now, and I'll show you what we do. So essentially with this is you're gaining control by tapping out every time on your turn. You're not worrying about counter or anything. And we are looking to essentially deck the other person. Just playing your normal game, winning, using the snowball effect of Acuity to slowly build up card advantage, slowly build up board advantage, life advantage. Then all you're going to do is Masterminds for 1, clear the mind, and recycle your whole deck back in your whole graveyard back into your deck, and you're good to go. So we have 2 of those because you don't want to get countered, and sometimes you're going to get into these long drawn out games. Also, you have a lot of bullets here. With silver bullets is what I call things that you can Mastermind for and pull out that will just simply win you the game. Unmoored Ego is one of those. Lyra Dawnbringer, is very good against red when after they've exhausted all their burn on you trying to kill you. Mirari Conjecture when it lands against a control deck, again, very good. Eldest Reborn, we don't need to talk about how good that card is. Bolus Clutches against, say, a flipped Nicole Bolas, a large Teferi, a large Planeswalker, you can just steal it. Ethereal Absolution is just game over against token decks, and White Weenie. Immortal Sun will shut down multiple Planeswalkers when you tutor for it and you hit it. That's the guy's name, Nizal, the Primal Tide. Could be Chromium. Nizal's better. It doesn't die to, say, Contempt into Akaya's. It's a really budget Niv-Mizzet, right? So just they cast a spell, you draw a card, you can dump your hand and save his life. He's good enough to beat most control decks after you've exhausted him anyways. If you can't Unmoored Ego them out. Also a fine finisher against mid-range decks. Sanguine Sacrament is a way to make sure you don't get decked yourself. It's also a way to gain a ton of life. Usually I don't need it, to be honest, but the anti-decking nature of it, shuffling it back into your library really helps. Mass Manipulation, towards the end game, we're not playing a lot of counter magic, pretty much one or two in the main deck. Mass Manipulation is phenomenal to once they go for their big spells, drop them out, tutoring for this and just taking them. Again, game changer, obviously. And Field of Ruin is just a nod to if they flip an Sunken Ruins, Azcanta on you, or even the Adanto, the first fort. That can be a real difficult thing to race. So this is just a nod to that for a way for us to take it out. I just want to go back here and check one thing. I skipped over the Devious Cover-Up. We're only running 1 counterspell. And that's really to force things through. If you really, really need it, again, you're making a perfect hand. It's also a way to shuffle your Masterminds back into your deck if you get them countered, if you get them thought erased. It's just it's a kind of a catch-all for oops, I made a mistake, and we back it up. So that's pretty much the deck list I've been running. It is a take of the million Dovin decks you've seen out there. This one has performed very well for me. I think I'm up near the top 100 again in Mythic Best of 1. The gameplay we'll see has been over the last couple days. I think you'll get some Hall of Famers in there. I think we have Nassif in there, Yellow Hat. I think we have Brad Nelson. I think we have the Asian Avenger, and maybe a white deck or two. So we're going to get a couple Esper decks. You'll see how you play against those. Some of those matches are really drawn out and really long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mute the audio. I'm going to speed them up, and I'm going to give you quick commentaries over them, just so we can get through them. Because again, those matches can go really long against Esper Control, especially when they don't scoop. We get a Gruul deck, and I'm on a white deck. So red deck, you'll see it's fairly easy. Red deck's a pretty easy matchup for you as long as they don't go bananas with an unchecked Steamkin. That's really the only one you're going to lose, or an unchecked Frenzy. But as long as you keep your Mortifies, you'll be fine with that. So let's jump into some gameplay, guys, and let's see what we do it. Thanks a lot.
I'm McLovin! Woo! I am McLovin! Woo!
Alright, so right here we are playing against, I think, Brad Nelson, so a freak. He's running the standard Jund Warriors list. We start off, let's get going here. Audio commentary is going to be pretty boring. We start off saying hello. You always say hello to your opponents. Doesn't look like Brad's going to say hello back. Yeah, I wouldn't say hello back to me if it was him, because, you know, I think he's got a losing record against me. Let's see, so we've got a decent opening hand against him. I don't put him on exactly what he's playing in the beginning, so I don't know what to unmoor Ego out of his hand. In retrospect, it should have been the Rekindling Phoenix, but if you can see, we're actually in a decent shape here. He's contemplating what to do. I'm getting anxious. Like, come on, brother, pick it out. Still in good shape here. We're going to go ahead and drop the Acuity. I'm not putting him on statue here, and I guess I should have. I could have lost Acuity right there if he wanted to sink 4 mana into it, but he chose to go with the Phoenix first, probably better. Here, you just always bin that thing, send that thing to exile. That's the biggest threat that those decks have against you since they're so difficult to kill. Keep dropping the Acuity here, slowly snowballing on the life and the card advantage. I thought about Craving there, but then I thought wiser. Went straight with the Acuity and just built it up. That was when we were running the Miser copy of Settle the Wreckage in there. Now it is the Precog Perception thing. So the Settle the Wreckage works out fairly well in this game because no one expects it from this deck. But it was very situational and there was only one of, so it's not like we were pulling it all the time. And he's contemplating what to do. Go at Ego Mount. Gonna get the rest of those Phoenixes out of his hand, out of the library first. I stumble with how to use this mechanic because I am not that smart. Try a bit again. Here we go. Alright, look at his hand. See, we are in good shape and he is not. Take these suckers. Take those suckers. You go to exile. Like Judge Dredd. And now we're just gonna use the old double kill. First of all, we're going to settle on him. Yeah, and that's me taunting a little bit. How you like them apples, Brad? But he's going to get in there with the statue. Save the Phoenix's life. That's good. Very happy about where we are right now. Going to Acuity out. Going to go ahead and Moment of Craving that brother out. Saving that Mortify just in case he has any enchantments I don't want to deal with, such as a Frenzy. I don't think I should have known that better since I went through his graveyard, but like I said, never said I was good at this game. Still in good shape here. I realize he's going to find the last Phoenix back to his hand, so my early celebration was all for naught. But again, we can always double kill these things. It's not optimal, but we can do it, and I think we pull that off right here. Good old Acuity. Just snowballing on life. I don't think a mid-range deck has much chance against you unless they go bananas on you early and you don't catch them. So I think about now, Brad actually stopped in the chat and started talking to me about this deck. You'll see me. Feel bad for taunting, but you know, it's all fun and games. Another Wrath here. Finish this guy off with the old Mortify, and it is all over but the crying for Bradley. I'm whistling the Irish music for what's going on here. Just waiting to see what's going on. Thorn Lieutenant, not the biggest threat in the world. There's where Brad stops in. Another little taunt there. I don't think that one was on purpose, but we saved that one, you know, when people are really getting under my skin. But you can see, guys, how this deck can just snowball, and it's the inevitability of the Acuity and all the spells. So now you're gaining 2 life, you're drawing a card, and you're also usually killing a creature or drawing another card. So it's just a snowball effect. It's a death by 1,000 cuts. It's nothing flashy. It is a slow grind. But you know, when I was playing Esper Control, the one thing I noticed is that the only thing I was using my absorbs for, the majority of the time, was to save my Planeswalker. You know, anything else I was dealing with the stuff that was in my deck anyway. So we were focusing. We were kind of, you know, what I like call fence walking. Sure, you have counter magic for those big spells that you need to counter, but it didn't really matter. We didn't have it that often. When we were counting something that was going to actually kill us, that we couldn't have done with a removal spell or more life. So we're just punting those right now. There we go. All right, let's jump right into the next game.
McLovin!
I believe
I
we're
am
running an Esper
McLovin!
Control deck. I think it is. We got the Asian Avenger here. It's back-to-back matches. Thanks for the follow there, buddy. We're going to go right off on Esper here. It looks like we have a Thought Eraser on turn 2. Usually good times for us. Look at his hand. The negate is probably what I'm going to take here. Let's see. Yep, peel the negate. Pitch the Revitalize. I kept it. Want to keep it. Probably like the card drawing there. So we're up to a decent start. We drop the Acuity. Just start snowballing this health. I don't worry about Kaya that much, and you're going to see why. Usually you're going to gain enough life in here that Kaya is not going to be able to beat you before you deck them. There's times when it can be a real threat to you. For the most part, it's not. So we're just going to ignore it and keep going. We have Contempt. If we need to do it, we can get it off, but it's not our top priority right now, guys. It does rip our Radical Ideas out of graveyard, which can be frustrating. But again, not the hugest of threats. But when you have to kill it, you got to kill it. Get out. What you want there is you want them to use their counter spells on your Contempt when you're trying to take that thing out. So we're just going to keep snowballing here. You'll see I'm going to start piecemealing together a good hand. The good hand against this person is an Unmoored Ego, with a way to protect it when you cast it, be it a Thought Eraser, or even in this hand a Devious Cover-Up. These games tend to be dog shit boring. That's why we're speeding it up, and I'm just talking to you like this. Pardon my French, by the way. Here we go. We're gonna get 3 Acuities going here and just start mising cards off the top. Patience is a virtue here. You don't need to rush into anything against an Esper Control deck. They're not getting there quickly. And if you know if they're playing a standard Esper list, their path to victory is decking you, which kind of plays into your game plan here. I'm gonna pick all these up. Tries to Mortify it. Not quite sure why he tries to do that. We have a ton of ways to pick those up ourselves. When you're tapped out, I guess it's fine, or if it's on your turn, it's fine. But we'll do it there. But to each their own. And we'll continue the old snowball here, building it up. Gotta figure he's bored out of his mind too. Part of the reason I don't play Esper in best of 1, sometimes I will when my rating drops, is because it's a very boring deck to play. It's not fun. Yeah, Scoop Bill. That was just scooping to the inevitability of the Unmoored Ego card.
I'm McLovin! Woo! I am McLovin!
Pepe 23. I think this is just a mono white match, if I remember this correctly. I wanted to throw one of these in here because I think in this instance of the game, Pepe eventually flips that landing on us, which can be difficult, especially if you're just playing a normal Esper Control deck. You'll see how we, is it you you're searching for? You'll see how we pretty much roll these decks, and the mono white, barring a God draw from them, isn't bad for you at all, especially if you're running 3 Cries and 2 Kayas or anything in general. You're just gonna start wiping their board. You don't even need to do it right here. See, I'm just tossing out the Acuity because there's no point in rushing it. I already flipped it. Get a little worried there, but I got the Kayas. I just need to mise the black, but you know, when you're good, you're good. We're gonna pull that black right off the top here. There we go. Pay that life. Go to 8. A little dicey. My dog's barking. You guys hear that all the time anyways. So we're going to go here and when somebody conclaves the Acuity out, who cares? We're going to mortify that thing and get it back eventually, and we're going to draw a card off of it. You're going to lose a card. It's just, it's not the best of plays. That's not his fault. I mean, it's the only thing he's got to deal with it, so gotta play the cards you dealt. Pretty much ball game, you know, but here's what's going to happen. We're going to have to start battling against this flipped fort here. This was before I had the Field of Ruin in the sideboard. That would make an easy tutor for me. You can also tutor for the Ethereal Absolution, I believe that's called, or something like that. Something ethereal, the 6 mana one. That shuts that down pretty nicely too. You can tell by my demeanor here, I'm pretty cocky at this point. I don't think, even with that active fort, I'm not too concerned. Talking to the chat, feeling it, doing the bull dance. Here we go, we get it back. And you gotta give it to Pepe here. He sticks it out. He's not scooping. No way. Not when he's got an active fort. Bless his heart. Just sitting there looking good. Feeling it. And here's the main issue they have here. Once you have at least 1 or 2 sweepers, those 1/1s, unless he has an Unbreakable Formation and a Banalish Marshal, they are not going to do enough damage to kill you when you have an active Acuity. 2 life, kill one of the creatures, draw a card. Over and over and over again. You know, it's like they're a punching bag at that point. And you're just waiting to draw a Mastermind, and you're waiting to end the game. The only thing you got to worry about is a Conclave. If you're playing White Weenie and you get to this stage in the game, I would suggest unmooring for the Conclave Tribunal or an Unbreakable Formation. Those are the only 2 things that are really going to do you in. And even if they hit a Conclave on your Ethereal, 9 times out of 10 you can just Mortify it. Save your Mortifies, ladies and gentlemen. Also save your Vraska's Contempt. They're very important to take out creatures that have Afterlife. Here you'll see me making a mistake. Using it on a 1/1 creature. You're still gaining 4 life here, guys. So, not a huge deal. Here, Pepe's got to be thinking to myself, what am I going to do? I'm going to eventually look at his hand here and figure out what he's holding on to. I can't figure out what he's holding on to. If you have an active ruin, or fort, pardon me, an active fort, you want to keep 4 mana open so you can absolutely make a 1/1, but you also want to play other creatures so you can actually put pressure on me. I should not be gaining life. You gotta put the pressure on. I shouldn't tell you guys how to beat this, but I'm a nice guy. Okay, the pre-gog here I think is a little bananas if I get to it. I don't remember if I get to it, but as you can see, this is just not fair. Vanguard's not a threat in the slightest against me. You go to exile. Talking to the chat, trying to keep people interested. Hard to do sometimes. We're not playing Fortnite here. Okay, Unmoored, what the hell are you holding? Go for the Conclave even though we're holding Mortify. Because I'm, again, not good. Should've went for the Unbreakable Formation. But now I just think this is game over. I think he knows it too. But he's going to keep punching. Keep turning him sideways. Here we go. Kaya's into the Masterminds into GG. PO. Here's a great mistake by me because I'm talking. I'll go ahead and try to mortify this guy for no reason. Indestructible fam, he ain't going nowhere. You'll see when I make mistakes I go on a little bit of tilt, something I gotta work on. I get in my own head. Getting bored here. Have a nice little LaCroix there. Grand Raspberry, my favorite flavor. Looking for a sponsorship? Hit me up. And acquisition. We should scoop here, right? Yeah, as soon as you see this,
I'm
scoop, there's no way to deal with this
McLovin!
now.
I am McLovin!
Alright, let's move on. Who do we have here? We got old, not old, he's, I could guarantee I'm older than him, but Nassif, Yellow Hat, one of my favorite players of all time. And here we go. And Nassif's only one of the guys on MTGA that I have a losing record against. So Did not like this matchup. Him playing control is not good for me. Did like this though, the off the bat Thought Erasure, and then seeing an Unmoored Ego on top of me. You can see my eyes perk up there, very excited. We'll toss it out, and we're going to say Teferi. This is a backbreaker. Get all three of them. I'm going to scan through the deck here to see what else he's got. He has got a 1 Kaya as a win condition. Now normally people are going to scoop this out, but no way, not Gabriel. He's going to keep battling this out. At this point I'm like, oh great, we're going to have a long drawn out match here, so I'm trying to find that Kaya before he can land it. He's trying to land that Kaya and protect it. I gotta like my position here though, but there comes a point in this game where I feel like I'm gonna lose. This is a long game, guys. This went down to the last play, and it kind of shows you the power of this deck, especially playing against Esper Control. Obviously, Thought Erasure and Unmoored Ego is pretty damn good. All right, so that hurts. It's bad times for Becky. He's got it. Takes the cover up, so I know he's got the counterspell here. But we are going to check just in case, because that's what we do. Never trust a counterspell. Never trust them. Make them have it. I'm going to go for another one. You know, he's only got 1 Kai's here. I was thinking about grabbing the Immortal Sun, but that's harder to land than the Unmoored Ego. So we'll snag it. Go for it next turn. The Esper Control decks, 4 absorbs, 1 to 2 negates. That's not a high counter deck. So if they've used a couple early, don't trust they have it. Of course he has it because he's a pro. We'll keep moving. He lands the Usurper. Now now it's on like Donkey Kong. But again, what I said earlier, you'll see, and he drops it as Katana, as Kanta, with 6 cards in the graveyard, just like a pro, just like a Hall of Famer, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are. But I know we just have to kill that Kaya. That's it. And we don't really even have to kill that Kaya, because what's going to happen here is we're going to get to too high of a life total that thing can kill us. But it is his last kill card. So it comes down to that and making sure he decks himself and doesn't deck me. I'm going to start the slow grind of the Acuity. It takes him a little while to realize that this is the game plan for me. It's just going to start, you know, casting out, gaining life here, and trying to make a perfect hand. Craft one. I thought I had it at one point. You'll see that in a little while, where I think I have the perfect hand. Turns out I don't. So we have to go for the 3rd game plan. I'd like to also point out him finding that Kaya, landing that Kaya, having the Thought Erasure and the Absorb on me was unlikely as well. So this game should have been over much sooner. He found the one of and had ways to protect it, which he didn't on my opening Thought Erasure. And here goes the slow process of Esper Control against Dovin's Acuity. It is very slow, like watching paint dry. Playing it isn't even that fun, to be honest. So many dead cards in each of our hand against each other. That's the bonus you have against Esper. The majority of their deck is dead against you. I toss a Kaya out here at one point. Don't know why I do it. I know he's holding a Contempt. I was hoping he'd counter it for some reason. But no dice, because he's a far better player than me. We're just counting it up here, guys. This is going to go for a while. I won't give you a spoiler on who wins this one. But at this point, I think he realizes that Kaya's not going to kill me, right? He's not going to get to... I'm going to get to a life total that's going to make it impossible for Kaya to kill me. Before the decking happens. A stiff decking. More Acuity, again, just building a hand here. Now I'm up to 2 Contempts and an Unmoored Ego. Unmoored Ego will act as a Thought Erasure for most of the things here. I like that. There's that precog, sets me up nicely. Here, I'm tossing this out here. I shouldn't do this. Tossing out there looking for an Absorber to negate. We don't get it. Of course, we get Contempted right in the mouth. She goes Live in Exile with the rest of my cards. Here I'm making sure he's got nothing that I want him to take back, just in case he has something I didn't see. I should know exactly what's in his deck, but I'm too lazy to watch it when I'm Unmoored Ego. Give a precursor glance. Still setting this hand up. I think I got him next turn. That's I remember this turn. I'm very excited about it. You can see it in my mannerisms here. If I was at a poker table, I'd be broke. And here we go. So I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna count my mana out here, make sure I have what I think I have. I do. I'm gonna pay 2 life on this, and we're just gonna go for it. He's got to have every counter that he has. He's got to be in his hand at this point, and well, doesn't seem likely for me. Got that Absorb. Now we're gonna Unmoored Ego. Gonna hope he uses that negate. Acts as Thought Eraser number 2. Pardon me, we're hoping to use that Absorb. Now we can respond with 2 Contempts. So this should be good for me. But out comes... I think out comes another negate here. It's final negate. So now I realize I am dead in the water with this game plan. I gotta audible here. Okay. And throw out the old Acuity, pardon me. The old Dovins. And we're gonna see what's going on. Game plan 2, I'm going to start counting what I have left. That doesn't matter to me anymore, I don't really care. But I have to count how many Masterminds are still in my deck. That's the only win condition I have now. I thought Eraser was good. Grab that Vraska's Contempt. We're back at it. It actually turned into a very tense game. It shouldn't have been either. This is the... should have been pretty straightforward for me. But pro's gonna pro. Gonna rip that Kaya on me. Sitting pretty there with 10 counters, but again, we are not dead. I know he's only got 1 counter spell. That's the key. If going through his deck the first time, I know he only has 1 Absorb left. The rest of his deck is dead. I don't even know what he's digging for. Maybe in 1 more Thought Eraser at that point. But eventually he realizes he stops digging. Knows he's not killing me with that. Hoping he got all my stuff out of my deck. I mean, that's part of the reason of having an odd build. No one really knows. I guess you're looking for Thought Eraser. So at this point, what's going through my mind is I can't draw my Masterminds with oh, pardon me, still got the Absorb. So I'm trying to get a Mastermind off here. Just trying to get a spell counter that's not my Mastermind, my last Mastermind. Or my last Contempt. Eraser. Again, doesn't really matter for me. 1 Acuity is as good as 2 for me at this point. A lot of action there. Wow, a lot of action. There's the Acuity, but we can't toss it out yet because of that Absorb. I'm counting how many I have left. Again, so we're going to go back to the game plan of slowly building a perfect hand. Knowing that he's burned through a lot of Thought Erasers, he's got 1 Absorb. We can really take our time here, and we do. We're letting him have this. You want to counter it? Counter it. There we go. Now we're in business. Now we know we're in business, right? Now I know I have 1 more. We got rid of the Kaya. I have 1 more acquisition, 1 more Mastermind in my deck, and that should be ball game. Unless I missed something that he had, I don't know. So we're just gonna start cycling through the deck. Even with 12 cards, we're just gonna start peeling through there and figuring out where the heck this last one is. I don't know what he's searching for here, guys. It might be a Thought Eraser, but I'm not going to keep that thing in my hand. I'm only gonna draw it when I can cast it. So I'm gonna be very careful when I play the Acuity, because I don't want to peel that Mastermind, pass the turn, and have it Thought Eraser. Again, this deck is slow, mildly boring. It's kind of fun though, man. Just tapping stuff out, just tapping out and saying this was coming at you. But what I'm gonna get at is playing this a lot all day will just drain your brain cells, kill your brain cells. It's not just turn and die sideways. It's really planning out, counting life, knowing when to cast things, when not to cast things. And with the way the best of one-liner is right now, you're going to run into a lot of Esper, so you got to be prepared for this match. I mean, we tweeted out to Brad after these sets of matches 2 days ago because he was interested in this specific list. I did go this day. I went 11-3 against Esper variants, which is very, very good. I don't think it's that high normally, and that was before we added the Thought Erasure. I know, it's hit or miss with this deck, but it's just they have so many dead cards against you. You just have to worry about their 4 absorbs and 2 negates, and keep their Teferis off the board. That's it. I mean, that's really all you got to worry about in it's ball game. Essentially, you're running 3 acquisitions, and you're running 2 Unmoored Egos, 3 Erasers. You're gonna hit something. Here we go. This is it. And we're gonna head to Scoopville, and this is gonna be our first victory against old Yellow Hat, which is good since I was 0-3 earlier. Lamenting that. Gonna take him a second to realize it. Probably didn't like my good game to him there, but it was a good game. I'm at 62 with more cards. And this right here initiates the scoop phase. Yep, nothing you can do there. Good game again. Always say good game. Very happy about that one. All right, so that's it. All right, guys, so that was it. I hope you enjoyed the video. As you can see, it's a pretty competitive deck. It's fun to play. It's something new. It is a tap out control deck, which means you're just not worrying about countering their big spells. You're worrying to react to those big spells. It's got an inevitability, and what I mean by that is that once you get the Acuity going, the inevitability of you winning is very high. It's just you slowly outdrawing cards and slowly getting more value out of your deck than theirs. It's the with the life gain in it. It's hard for an aggro deck to get to you before you can kill it. Before you gain complete control. As you saw in the Esper thing, which I put a bunch of Esper matches on here because I wanted you guys to see them. The Esper deck is not the worst matchup. It is not the best matchup, but it's very, very winnable. And I think that's what everybody's worry about this deck is that you don't have the counter spells, you don't really have the hand destruction, you don't have the threats. What are you going to do? The biggest threat you can have for them is taking the win condition out of their deck. And if, God forbid, they're not running the Kaya, one Unmoored Ego will just flat out wins you the game. Usually one Unmoored Ego, even with the Kaya in there, is flat out wins the game since that Kaya is not going to go, is not going to get you the whole time. So anyways, I hope you liked this video. We'll be back next week with a new one. Check me out on Twitter at Craig_Mack, on Twitch at Craig Mack 378, and drop into the stream one time, guys. Monday through Friday, 9 to 3. Thanks a lot, guys, and see you soon.
I'm McLovin. Woo! I am McLovin. Woo!